Alright, we're recording. So hi you guys and welcome to my channel. I'm back with a new reaction video, and I know you guys have been asking me to react to Jack Dempsey for a while now, and I'm finally doing it. And then I see that my favorite mic is saying I'm crazy about Jack Dempsey, so he must be something special. So I'm not gonna ramble. We're gonna check out a video from Rainy Day Boxing. It's called The Man Who Inspired Mike Tyson. So I'm super excited for this one. I'm not gonna ramble. Let's get straight into this video. Alright, let's see. Oh, wait. Can I forget the sound? Alright.
Tucked away in the Catskills of New York, a teenage Mike Tyson dreaming of greatness would look to old fight films for inspiration. The young historian studied and learned from the champions of the past, and no fighter had a greater influence on the young Tyson than Jack Dempsey. From his menacing scowl to his haircut and attire, everything he did was an homage to his boxing hero. The original little man that battered giants, the Manasseh Mauler, was savagery personified. Rainy Day Boxing brings you Jack Dempsey, a boxing legend.
I love Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey is a very, very vicious man, ferociously savage. That's what it's saying, like, if you regard Jack Dempsey as one of the really great fighters. Oh man, I'm crazy about Jack Dempsey. Because of his ferocious intensity, there's no one like him. No one like him.
Born 1895 in Manasseh, Colorado, one of 13 children,
Wow.
Jack was raised in poverty. Determined to emerge from a life of struggle and make a name for himself, Dempsey left home in his teenage years and began his days as a traveling hobo. Jack made his living brawling men in Western saloons for money. As a child, he developed his skills as a boxer by fending off bullies who teased him for his high-pitched voice, so by the time he was a teenager, fighting was all too natural to him.
Wow, survival.
By clinging onto the brake beams underneath freight trains, Dempsey traveled the West, visiting all the mining towns and challenging the biggest man he could find to a dust-up. With a knack for fighting, his fists were the tools he used to survive.
In comes this rough and tumble man from the West, a fierce puncher, a man who has been through the jungles. He has lived under the worst possible circumstances, and he comes in and he proceeds to knock out people. That's impressive. And so his reputation was built on the basis of his prowess
more than
as
just
a
strength.
heavy-hitting,
He has
rough,
that.
tough Manasseh Mauler.
That's what survival.
He's been fighting for years. People don't know. He's been fighting as a hobo for years. Losing, winning, getting knocked out, having hundreds of fights. And his experience is so vast.
When I was young, I got knocked down plenty, Jack Dempsey would later recall. I wanted to stay down, but I couldn't because I had to collect that $2 for winning.
Exactly.
I had one fight when I was knocked down 11 times, but got up to win.
Body
I had
one
to get
thing,
up.
mind
I
another.
was hungry. Someday, if you haven't eaten for 2 days, you'll understand.
For his fighting in saloons on sawdust floors, he was making a meal. The only fight he ever was knocked out in, he hadn't eaten in 4 days.
Turning pro at age 19, Jack began climbing the ranks, sometimes fighting up to 21 times a year. By the time he was 24 years old, Dempsey had racked up 26 first-round knockouts, 2 of which were against the top 2 contenders. Jack had earned a title shot. Then champion Jess Willard was a giant of a man and was the heavy favorite to beat the rough-necked challenger. It was a modern-day adaptation of David against Goliath, and it unfolded to be the worst beating in boxing history.
He went after Jess Willard right away, like a panther on a huge elephant. He got right on him, and he beat the daylights out of him. I don't think Willard hit Dempsey.
That's one thing, like the most muscular, biggest one is not always the strongest one.
He just went after him, and he could kill that man.
Don't judge what book by its
This
cover.
combination right here, this is what made Jack Dempsey such exciting and a great fighter. This is the ferociousness and waiting for the opponent to get up like a tiger. And it's rounds like this that made the public love Dempsey so much, and this is why I love him so much.
Dempsey is all over the champion, throwing lefts and rights to the head, and Jess on again. The moment Willard's knees are off the canvas, the challenger continues to pound the ground.
Shit, like is this?
3 rounds. Willard has suffered a broken jaw, 2 fractured ribs, and 5 missing teeth. Jack Dempsey is heavyweight champion of the world.
An icon was born. It was the dawn of the roaring 20s, and Dempsey's reign as boxing's greatest draw card was just getting started. Jack and his team commercialized the sport. His bouts were an entertainment extravaganza, bringing in boxing's first $1 million gate. Today there is no greater draw in boxing than Anthony Joshua, who regularly fills up football stadiums, pulling in crowds of 90,000 people.
Wow.
Jack Dempsey would have mammoth stadiums specially made for his fights that pulled crowds of up to 120,000 spectators.
I got goosebumps. Whoa!
Jack gained the same idolatry in his era as Tyson did in the 80s, and like Mike, Dempsey was depicted in a bad light by the media. He was stigmatized as a draft-dodging slacker who avoided the First World War.
The draft-dodging stories that would plague Dempsey throughout his career emerged.
Jack got a bad rap in World War I, but he had a very sharp manager named Jack Kearns. Kearns had him appear at a working site, and they had him with a sledgehammer in his hand and these working clothes on, except his patent leather shoes were showing underneath the pants. It made very bad press for Jack.
But that couldn't keep the fans away, as the public...
Wait, what was bad? I don't understand. What made up... Hold on, I gotta play it over because I don't understand.
With a sledgehammer in his hand. Kearns had him appear at a working site, and they had him with a sledgehammer in his hand and these working clothes on, except his patent leather shoes were showing underneath the pants. It made very bad press for Jack.
But that couldn't keep the fans away.
So it was just like a posing thing? They say, or like, I don't understand. That's why? Because he wore the leather shoes? It's just like for...
As the public were enthralled by his wild, almost rampaging approach. Dempsey had a profound change on the fight game. Previously, fighters were stiff and tentative, rarely throwing punches and combinations. Boxing was safety first, and the fans were very welcoming to this new, aggressive champion.
Wow, so he changed the game.
Dempsey storms right back.
His back, like his posture.
Dempsey was just a savage puncher. I think any punch he threw could take you out. He just threw punches with bad intentions.
The savagery that Dempsey displayed had never been seen in a boxing ring before.
He was great. He was great.
Dempsey was a fighter. He came in advancing, bobbing and weaving, ready to tear his opponent apart. You could see his eyes, they were blazing. Couldn't wait to get to his opponent.
He would do anything to win. He was just a mean old critter, as they say.
Dempsey is after it. A sharp left, right, and Carpentier is down.
Suddenly, at the count of 9, Carpentier leaps to his feet. 5 seconds later, Carpentier is down.
Bad idea.
Bad idea! He would crouch and go low, and he was sort of like a force of nature. Basically wanted to kill his opponent and rush across the ring, and people had never seen anything quite like that before. Boxing was more of a gentleman's sport before Dempsey.
Jack Dempsey stands out amongst the best. I mean, this was one man that electrified the crowd. He was like a volcano erupting. He left the people gasping for breath.
This was excitement. This wasn't safety first. This was safety last. Excitement was the name of the game, and Dempsey was feeding it.
Mike, they say that Jack Dempsey changed the face of the sport forever with a style that the public had never seen before. What was so unusual about Jack Dempsey?
Well, Jack Dempsey had the most unique distinction of being such a whirlwind, action-packed fighter because of the fighter just a little bit before him was very conservative fighters, and Dempsey was just an action-packed fighter. Fighter that the people loved to see, and they weren't used to that type of fighting, and America fell in love with him.
Jack Dempsey was a victim of his own success. As champion, he didn't fight often, defending his title only 6 times in 7 years. During his inactivity, he attempted to become a movie star to try to change his public image. Becoming civilized among the Hollywood elites, Dempsey was slowly losing the fighting spirit that took him to the title. And while he was facing many public appearances, most fighting for his entire career was on the
Continues to outbox and out-hit the great Jack Dempsey. Dempsey's taking a pretty good beating up to now. His face is badly swollen, his right eye is cut and closed.
This is a tiring champion, repeatedly being beaten to the punch. It looks like Dempsey is the one in danger of being KO'd.
Boxing brilliantly, Gene Tunney captured the heavyweight championship with unanimous decision over the Manasseh Mauler.
Gene Tunney was the new heavyweight champion of the world. Jack Dempsey was a disappointed and exhausted fighter.
Though many experts predicted that the loss to Tunney was the end of his career, the 31-year-old Dempsey did not agree. He wanted a return bout and win back his title. The second fight gets underway before more than 100,000 spectators. The majority certain that Dempsey will win back the crown.
Tunney dominated the early rounds, but in round 7, the tide dramatically turned.
Dempsey lands a potent right-hand counter, follows up with a series of 7 devastating punches. Tunney goes down for the first time in his career. Referee Dave Barry points for Jack to move to a neutral corner. Only then does he begin the counter. Instinctively, Dempsey stays nearby. 5 seconds have elapsed before referee Barry is ready to begin the count. Gene looks hurt, dazed as the count begins. But here at the official count of 4, when 9 seconds have actually elapsed, he is looking at the referee and picks up the numbers. Tunney is up at the referee's count of 9. Unabashedly, he gets on a bicycle to stay away from the rampaging Dempsey.
Tunney was knocked down in the 7th round, but many believe it was the only round he lost.
And what nobody remembers is Tunney knocks Dempsey down in the 8th round.
Tunney has taken complete charge, bruised and exhausted. Jack Dempsey seems on the verge of being knocked out for the first time in 10 years. There's the bell. The fight is over. Gene Tunney overwhelmingly the winner.
That 7th round, the long count, and it is still probably one of the most famous moments in all of sports.
Dempsey's lavish lifestyle had caught up with him when met with a hungry, more determined challenger. But in defeat, Jack had finally found his place in the hearts of the people. Not long after, realizing his best years were behind him, Dempsey retired. Very few fighters achieved the popularity of Jack Dempsey. He was the first fighter to gain superstar status. The savage treatment of his opponents had the nation begging for more, and his rugged good looks and humble beginnings made him a working-class hero. Jack Dempsey emerged from poverty and made something out of himself, and will forever have his greatness preserved.
Maybe one of the greatest gate draws in the history of sports.
When Dempsey retired, they retired the title champ. That's how great he was.
Do you see anything in your own fighting that compares with Dempsey? I would be a privilege, like everyone compare me to him, but I know deep inside there's no one like Jack Dempsey.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe.
This was nice to see. You guys have told me to check him out, and I never did till now, and I'm happy that I did. Very, great story in general. I love to see these moments, these humans just making it out and just being an inspiration to upcoming greats. I love to watch this one. It's really good. And imagine living during that time. Like, he was born in the late 1800s. Every time you watch old things, you have to look at how the reality was back then with everything, to understand how people thought and stuff like that. You cannot judge a time back then with our eyes how it is today. They will never really understand fully how it was. But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. I hope you guys enjoyed this little mini documentary about Jack Dempsey as much as I did. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Appreciate you watching. Bye.